channel, and today is Monday, and we are going to be doing True Crime and Makeup Monday. As you all know, it is Halloween spooky season, so we are doing Halloween true crime stories, and today we're going to be talking about the story that inspired the Amityville horror. Trigger warning, graphic crime scenes, graphic description of crime scenes, talk of sexual abuse, so forth and so on. All the usual things we need a trigger warning for, I guess. Ronald Joseph DeFeo Jr. was an American mass murderer who was tried and convicted for the 1974 killings of his father, mother, two brothers, and two sisters in Amityville, New York. Sentenced to 6 sentences of 25 years to life, DeFeo died in prison on March 12, 2021. The case inspired the book and film versions of the Amityville horror. Around 6:30 p.m. on November 13th, 1974, DeFeo, who was then 23, entered Henry's bar in Amityville, Long Island, New York, and declared, "You gotta help me. I think my mother and father are shot." DeFeo and a small group of people went to 112 Ocean Avenue, which was located near the bar, and found that DeFeo's parents were dead inside the house. One of the group, DeFeo's friend Joe Yeswit, made an emergency call to the Suffolk County Police Department, who searched the house and found that 6 members of the family were dead in their beds. The victims were Ronald Jr.'s parents, Ronald DeFeo Sr., 43, and Louise DeFeo, 43, and his 4 siblings, Dawn, 18, Allison, 13, Mark, 12, and John, 9. All of the victims have been shot with a .35 caliber lever action Martin 33-6C rifle around 3 a.m. in the morning of that day. The children had all been killed by single shots, while the DeFeo parents had each received 2 shots. Physical evidence suggests that Louise DeFeo and her daughter Allison were awake at the time of their deaths. According to Suffolk County Police, the victims were all found lying face down in bed. The DeFeo family had occupied 112 Ocean Avenue since purchasing it in 1965. The 6 victims were later buried in St. Charles Cemetery nearby in Farmingdale. Ronald DeFeo Jr., also known as Butch, was the oldest child of the family and its lone surviving member. He was taken to the local police station for his own protection after suggesting to police officers at the scene of the crime that the killings had been carried out by a mob hitman, Louis. I can't get this open. Louis Bellini. However, an interview at the station soon exposed serious inconsistencies in his version of events. The following day, he confessed to carrying out the killings himself, and Fellini, the alleged hitman, had an alibi proving he was out of state at the time of the killings. DeFeo told detectives, "Once I started, I just couldn't stop. It went so fast." That's sad, but especially the little ones. Little ones always get to me. But yeah. DeFeo told detectives, quote, "Once I started, I just couldn't stop. It went so fast," end quote. What the?
Today, we're going to be graded on our ABCs. Airway, breathing, circulation, which means I'm going to be looking for the proper head tilt, rescue breaths, and the timing of your compressions. Got it? Hey, Rodney, can you ask Rodriguez's sister to come in for a second, please?
You wanted to see me?
Yeah, Martina. Come on in. Close the door.
So what's up?
Well, technically you did great with your CPR, but it's your times. You're in bubble.
There we go. Okay. I was like,
Relax. I'm going to give you a chance to do it again next week. But listen, it's not about how often you practice.
me and my makeup are struggling a little. It's fine. It's fine. Okay.
That's the problem. Kids do it easy. Let me show you something.
He admitted that he had taken a bath and redressed, and detailed where he had discarded crucial evidence such as blood-stained clothes, the Marlin rifle, and cartridges before going to work as usual. So, like, no biggie. I just murdered my entire family, but I'm going to go to work because I have to go to work.
Martina, hey, what were you doing today?
Greco just wanted to go over my scores.
Hey, yo, Chief. Hey, what did you... If I ever see you here again, I'll kill you, bro. I swear to God.
I just realized that I have this playing in the background and I need to turn it off.
Dude, what's your problem?
Okay. DeFeo's trial began on October 14th, 1975. He and his defense lawyer, William Weber, mounted an affirmative defense of insanity, with DeFeo claiming that he killed his family in self-defense because he heard their voices plotting against him. The insanity plea was supported by the psychiatrist for the defense. Sorry, give me just a second. Anyway, sorry. The insanity plea was supported by the psychiatrist for the prosecution. Dr. Harold Zolan maintained that although DeFeo was a user of heroin and LSD, he had antisocial personality disorder and was aware of his actions at the time of the crime. The trial's judge, Thomas Stark, declared that DeFeo's crimes were the most heinous murders committed in Suffolk County since its founding. Like, not really a title you want to earn, bud. On November 21st, 1975, DeFeo was found guilty on 6 counts of second-degree murder. On December 4th, 1975, Judge Thomas Stark sentenced DeFeo to 6 sentences of 25 years to life. DeFeo was held at the Sullivan Correctional Facility in the town of Fallsburg, New York, and until his death, all of his appeals and requests to the parole board had been denied. All 6 of the victims were found face down in their beds with no signs of struggle. The police investigation concluded that the rifle had not been fitted with a sound suppressor and found no evidence of sedatives having been administered. DeFeo claims during his interrogation that he had drugged his family. Evidence did not support this. DeFeo had a volatile relationship with his father, but the motive for the killings remains unclear. He asked police what he had to do in order to collect on his father's life insurance, which prompted the prosecution to suggest at trial that his motive was to collect on the life insurance policies of his parents. After his conviction, DeFeo gave several varying accounts of how the killings were carried out. In a 1986 interview for Newsday, DeFeo claimed his sister Dawn killed their father, and then their distraught mother killed all of his siblings, apparently with a rifle, before he killed his mother. He stated that he took the blame because he was afraid to say anything negative about his mother to her father, Michael Brigante Sr., and his father's uncle, out of fear that they would kill him. His father's uncle was Peter DeFeo, a Corporeal guy, and the Genovese crime family. In this interview, DeFeo also asserted he was married at the time of the murders to a woman named Geraldine Gates, with whom he was living in New Jersey, and that his mother phoned to ask him to return to Amityville to break up a fight between Dawn and their father. Subsequently, he drove to Amityville with Geraldine's brother, Richard Romando, who was with him at the time of the murders and could verify his story completely. In 1990, DeFeo filed a 440 motion, a proceeding to have his conviction vacated. In this motion, DeFeo asserted that Dawn and an unknown assailant who fled the house before he could get a good look at him killed their parents, and Dawn subsequently killed their siblings. So he said the only person he killed was Dawn, and that it was by accident as they struggled over the rifle. Again, he asserted he was married to Geraldine and that her brother was with him at the time of the murder. An affidavit from Richard Raimondo was submitted to the court, and it was asserted he could not be located to testify in person. Like, but if you know this guy, wouldn't you know where he is? Like, is that just me? Is that just, like, am I wrong? I feel like if you're married to his sister, she should know where to find him, right? Evidence was submitted to the courts by the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office, suggesting that Richard Raimondo did not exist and that Geraldine Gates was living in upstate New York, married to someone else at the time of the murders. Geraldine Gates did not testify at this hearing because the authorities had already confronted her about the false claims, and in 1992 secured a statement under oath where she admitted Raimondo was fictitious and that she did not actually marry DeFeo until 1989 in anticipation of the filing of the 440 motion. Judge Stark denied the notion, writing, "I find the testimony of the defendant overall to be false and fabricated. His testimony that during the fall of 1974 he was married and living with his wife and child at Long Branch, New Jersey is incredible and not worthy of belief. He produced no corroborating evidence in this regard. Another reason for my disbelief of defendant's testimony is demonstrated by consideration of several portions of the trial testimony. He signed a lengthy written statement describing in detail his activities. In the statement, he said that he lived with his family at 112 Ocean Avenue in Amityville and that he worked for his father, that he usually went to and from work with his father, that he was ill and stayed home from work on November 12, 1974, that he usually went to and from work with his father, that he was ill and stayed home from work on November 12th, 1974, that he was on probation for having stolen an outboard engine, and had an appointment to see his probation officer in Amityville on that very afternoon. Defendant's girlfriend, Mindy Weiss, testified that she began dating the defendant in June of 1974 and was with him frequently that summer and fall. Stark further declared, quote, "Defendant's testimony that he did not shoot and kill the members of his family is likewise incredible and not worthy of belief." On November 30th, 2000, DeFeo met with Rick Osana, the author of The Night of the DeFeos Died, which was published in 2002. According to Osana, they spoke for about 6 hours. However, in a letter to the radio show host Lou Gentile, DeFeo denied giving Rick Asana information that he could be used in his book, claiming that he immediately left the interview and did not speak to Hussein about anything substantive. According to Asana, DeFeo claimed that he had committed the murders with his sister Dawn and two friends, Agi DiGiorno and Robbie Kelski, out of desperation because his parents had plotted to kill him. Allegedly, DeFeo claimed that after a furious row with his father, row just means fight, it's like an old school term, he and his sister planned to kill their parents and that Dawn murdered the children in order to eliminate them as witnesses. He said that he was enraged on discovering his sister's actions, knocked her unconscious onto her bed, and shot her in the head. Police found traces of unburned gunpowder on Dawn's nightgown, which DeFeo proponents allege proves she discharged a firearm. However, at trial, the ballistics expert Alfred Della Pena testified that unburned gunpowder is discharged through the muzzle of a weapon, indicating that she was in proximity of the muzzle of the weapon when it was discharged, and not that she fired the weapon. He reiterated this on A&E Amityville documentary that is extensively discussed in Will Saviv's Mentally Ill in Amityville. Saviv had an expert evaluate Della Pena's assessment, and the expert confirmed that he was correct. Moreover, the medical examiner found nothing to indicate that Dawn had been in a struggle. The bullet... Whoa, that was a lot. I forgot this was new. That's fine. That's fine. Anyway. Moreover, the medical examiner found nothing to indicate that Dawn had been in a struggle. The bullet wound was the only fresh mark on her body. Skeptic Joe Nickel notes that given the frequency with which DeFeo had changed his story over the years, any new claims from him regarding the events that took place on the night of the murder should be approached with caution. So basically stating that his story kept changing and that he should not be believed at all, because, you know, he's given pretty solid evidence that he's a liar, and cannot be trusted to tell them the truth about what really happened, which I don't know. I feel like even in the 70s we were starting to get like good evidence. You know, we had fingerprints and DNA at this point, and I don't understand how they weren't able to prove beyond a doubt that he killed his family. Like, I mean, I guess they did because he died in prison, but like there seems to be a lot of like struggle about, like, I don't know, there seemed to be a lot of struggle involved. And Dawn, I don't know, they're right. You could get like gunpowder on you from being shot. You can get gunpowder on you from doing the shooting. You can get gunpowder on you from being close to the person doing the shooting. So I don't know. I mean, like, could she have been involved? Absolutely. Anybody could have been involved. It just, you know, there was she was dead. She couldn't like back up his story of whether or not he was telling the truth or not, you know? Just saying. Sorry, I'm gonna read more of like this actual like facts in the story that I have. I have to like really pay attention to like the face paint portion of doing this so I don't get it into like my hair and stuff. Nickel notes that given the frequency with which DeFeo has changed his story over the years, any new claims from him regarding the events that took place on the nights of the murders should be approached with caution. Most of the claims made in Rick Asano's book are sourced to DeFeo's ex-wife, Geraldine Gates, while in the 1986 interview with Newsday, she asserted she married DeFeo in 1974. In Asano's book are sourced to DeFeo's ex-wife, Geraldine Gates, while in the 1986 interview with Newsday, she asserted she married DeFeo in 1974. In Osana's book, she alleges they married in 1970. Their 1993 divorce case says that they met in 1985, married in 1989, and divorced in 1993. DeFeo died age 69 on March 12th, 2021 at the Albany Medical Center. The official cause of death has not been released to the public. Jay Anson's book, The Amityville Horror, was published on September 13th, 1977. The book is based on the 28-day period during December 1975 and January 1976, when George and Kathy Lutz and their 3 children became the first family to live at 112 Ocean Avenue since the murders. The Lutz family left the house, claiming they had been terrorized by paranormal phenomena while living there. The book's 1979 film adaptation became the highest grossing independent film of all time and held its record until 1990. It was followed by several sequels, as well as many other films which share no connection other than the reference to Amityville. No connection. Not one. The 1982 film Amityville 2, The Possession, is based on the book Murder in Amityville by parapsychologist Hans Holzer. It is set at 112 Ocean Avenue, featuring the fictional Montelli family, who are based on the DeFeo family. The story introduces speculative and controversial themes, including an incestuous relationship between Sonny Montelli and his teenage sister Patricia, based loosely on a rumor of an incestuous relationship between DeFeo and his sister Dawn. The 2018 film The Amityville Murders is another dramatization of the DeFeo murders and the circumstances surrounding them. Unlike Amityville 2 The Possession, the 2018 film retains the names of the real-life participants. Dwayne Franklin and Burt Young, who starred in Amityville 2, appear in different roles in the Amityville Murders. Which, I mean, okay. I don't know. I don't think you should be allowed to profit off of crime, but that's just me. The film versions of the DeFeo murders contain several inaccuracies. The 2005 remake of the Amityville Horror contains a fictional child character called Jody DeFeo. The claim that DeFeo was influenced to commit the murders by spirits from the Lenape burial ground on the state of 112 Ocean Avenue has been rejected by local historians and Native American leaders, who argue that there's sufficient evidence to support the claim that the burial ground never existed. Wouldn't that be some crazy-ish right there? That'd be crazy. Got some spots showing, so we're fixing that. Okay. So essentially, the movie version that everyone knows is not exactly. It's not exactly how the reality was. It's quite evident that guy was a little cuckoo bananas and was like, I'm just gonna go off and murder like my whole family because why not? Right? That looks really stupid as shit. Okay, let me fix it. No, it doesn't look as bright. Alright, it's fine now. It's fine. Um, but I mean, the real deal story is like just as tragic. Like it's scary. And that is the story of the Amityville 4. Um, sentences right there. And that's the final look. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'll see y'all next week. Have a wonderful day. Bye, guys. Oh, don't do anything I wouldn't do. Make good choices and be cautiously kind to others. Bye.